Coptic Heritage Hymn Channel presents
Saints of the Day, a Coptic Journey. Calendar 07 Hator, November 16th, approximately.
Commemoration of the Day. 1. Consecration of the Church of St. George in Lydda. 2. Martyrdom of St. George the Alexandrian. 3. Martyrdom of St. Nahroou. 4. Martyrdom of Saints Abkseema the Bishop, Joseph, and Eitala Deacon. 5. Departure of St. Mina, Bishop of Tamai el Amdid.
1. Consecration of the Church of St. George in Lydda.
On this day, the Church commemorates the consecration of the Church of St. George the Roman in the city of Lydda, Palestine, a church through which the Lord worked great signs and wonders on land and sea. St. George received the crown of martyrdom at the hands of Emperor Diocletian in the year 263 AD. After his martyrdom, his mother hid his holy body in her hometown of Lydda until the persecution ended. When Diocletian heard of the fame of this church, he sent Ohios, the commander of his army, to destroy it. Ohios arrogantly approached the icon of St. George, mocked the believers and struck the lamp hanging before the icon.
A shard fell from the lamp onto his head, he trembled violently, collapsed, and died on the way back. His soldiers threw his body into the sea.
Diocletian then decided to destroy the church himself, but the Lord struck him with blindness, and stirred the people against him.
He was deposed, and God raised up the righteous Emperor Constantine.
The faithful then built a great church in honor of St. George the Roman, placed his holy body within it, and consecrated the church on this day, from which many miracles and wonders flowed.
This day became a blessed annual commemoration throughout the Coptic Church.
Martyrdom of St. George the Alexandrian. I'm St. George the Alexandrian. I was the nephew of Arminius, the governor of Alexandria. My father was a devout merchant who had no children. He traveled to Lydda, Palestine, and happened to be there during the feast of the consecration of St. George's Church.
He prayed to God for a son, and the Lord granted him a child whom he named George, raising him in the Christian faith.
After his parents passed away, George lived with his uncle Arminius until the age of 25.
Arminius had one daughter who, while out with her friends, heard the chants of monks from a nearby monastery.
She was moved and asked George about it. He explained to her the Christian faith, judgment, reward, and punishment. She believed and confessed her faith to her father.
He tried to persuade her, then threatened her, and when she refused to renounce Christ, he ordered her beheading, and she received the crown of martyrdom.
When he learned that George had led her to the faith, he tortured him severely, then sent him to Antioch,
where the governor tortured him further, and finally beheaded him, granting him the crown of martyrdom. A deacon named Samuel took his body to Memphis, but when Arminius' wife learned of its location, she retrieved it and placed it beside her daughter's body in Alexandria.
3. Martyrdom of St. Nahroou. St. Nahroou was a devout man from Fayoum, born in the late 3rd century.
When he heard of the martyrs, he longed to join them, and went to Alexandria to be martyred for Christ.
In a vision, he heard a voice saying, "Go to Antioch, stand before Diocletian, and confess Christ." He obeyed and traveled to Antioch, where he boldly confessed his faith before Emperor Diocletian. The emperor was astonished by his courage, and threatened him with torture.
He was thrown to wild beasts, but they did not harm him. He was burned with fire, but God preserved him. Finally, he was beheaded, and received the crown of eternal glory. Saint Julius of Akfis was present at his martyrdom, took his body, wrapped it in linen, wrote his biography, and sent it with 2 servants to his hometown of Fayoum, where he is honored to this day.
4. Martyrdom of Saints Abkseema the Bishop, Joseph, and Eitala the Deacon.
On this day also, the Church commemorates the martyrdom of Saint Abkseema, Bishop of Persia, along with Saint Joseph and Saint Eitala the Deacon. They were persecuted under King Shapur of Persia, who ordered their arrest and tried to persuade them to abandon the faith and worship the sun.
They refused steadfastly, so he tortured them, tore their bodies, and imprisoned them.
They endured with patience until the end, and received the crowns of martyrdom, becoming shining examples of faith and perseverance.
5. Departure of Saint Mina, Bishop of Tamai el Amdid. Saint Mina was born in Samanud to devout parents who lived a life of holiness.
He was married against his will, but he and his wife agreed to live in celibacy, devoting themselves to prayer and asceticism, a life of holiness. He longed for monastic life, and went to the monastery of Saint Anthony, then to the monastery of Saint Macarius, where he was mentored by Saints Abram and Georgi.
He grew in holiness and was granted the gift of healing.
He was later ordained Bishop of Tamai el Amdid, and served his flock faithfully. He departed in peace, and is commemorated on this blessed day. Spiritual reflection. On this day, churches are consecrated, martyrs are crowned, monks are ordained, and glory is written in the lives of those who loved Christ to the end.
This is how the Synaxarion records glory through zeal, martyrdom, asceticism, and divine grace. May the blessings of St. George, the prayers of the martyrs, and the intercession of St. Mina be with us all. Amen. Glory be to our God forever. Amen.
Thanks for watching. For more videos follow us on Coptic Heritage Hymn on YouTube, Ahmad.Bashay 2025-25 at TikTok, and Anagnostus Ahmad Bashay at Facebook.